Hi there, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jaymie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast.
For 15 years now, we've been proudly helping breeders promote hundreds of thousands of pedigree livestock with our easy-to-use animal management-driven website software.
And let's not forget about Hired Hand Live, where over $1 million worth of livestock is sold online each year.
We're excited to bring you market trends, sales data, advice from your fellow breeders, and stories from the ranch.
Our software makes managing your website and your animals a breeze, so you can focus on what you love.
So let us handle your digital chores while you tune in to another episode of From the Pasture with Hired Hand.
Today we're talking about the upcoming Chisholm Trail sale. Our guest and sale hosts, Nikodym and Kevin Bryant, will give us the inside look at the cattle and other details for the weekend. Be sure to visit hiredhandlive.com, where you can view all the consignments, get detailed information, and place your bids. You can also check out the consigners' websites powered by Hired Hand software to learn more about their programs. If you're excited to hear about the outstanding Longhorns headed to the sale ring, stay tuned. We've got the full rundown. Well, hi, Nick. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here.
So for people who may not know who the two of you are, or maybe just seen you in passing or seen, some crazy guy walking around with a beard and a Hawaiian shirt at an event, could you introduce yourselves and talk to us about how long you've been in Longhorns and kind of your history with Longhorns?
I guess I'll go first. Nikodym. My wife Kimberly and I have run and owned Commander's Place Longhorns for pushing 20 years. I think it's 18 and change now. Been in the breed a long time and seen a lot of good and a lot of bad. And, I think what we're trying to do here is incorporate all the good things and provide an opportunity for a good sale and a good futurity in this region.
Kevin, how about you and Jody?
My name's Kevin Bryant and my wife's Jody. We got in this in 2010 for my mom to have something to do, and she supported this deal until she passed away, and we've continued that. But we've showed several years. We started showing in 15, won some championships, lost some. We've had some good cattle that did good. We did the Elite Futurity in 17, 18, and 19. I've been on the ITLA board. When Nick come up and we decided we wanted to do this, we both agreed that it would be something for our region, that it'd be different. It's close to home and give people from everybody from north, south, east, and west an opportunity to come and compete with us. And our goal has always been is to have a good opportunity, a good time, good friendship, and just enjoy the cattle.
So if my math is right, that's over 30 years of Longhorn breeding between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, neither one of us are known for our math, though.
So you decided to have, this is the first year that you're going to have this sale. And when you decided to have this sale, I know, Kevin, you touched a little bit on how you wanted it to be close to home and for the people around you. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that, Nick?
Yeah, sure. Some of us have been around long enough to remember, like the Rocky Mountain Select Sale out in Colorado Springs that Stan Searle and Gary Lake put on for years. And, Mike Bowman did the Midwest Sale. Now there's been, different versions of the Midwest Sale. They're doing a good thing up there too. But realistically, the upper Midwest really doesn't have an opportunity that they can call their own. Whereas I think here now with our sale, we've got consigners from Wyoming, Dakotas, I think Nebraska, Colorado, certainly Utah. And I'm not saying that these folks don't come to Texas sales or whatever, but Texas is another state away, and I think having this region having an opportunity to market cattle and participate in a futurity is a big thing, and that's what Kevin and I and Jody and Kim really are focused on, is making this a regional success.
So what are some of the things that you learned hosting a sale for the first time versus going to a sale?
Well, I know that you said the word sale, so I think I'm going to jump in and answer a little bit here. Both Kevin and I have really put on events in the past. Kevin was very involved in the ITLA Grand Champions, I think it was called, and some of the bigger futurity stuff. I've been on the board for TLBAA. I've done Horn Showcases. I've been on that committee. Kim has been on the World Show Committee. I what do they call me? The chairman for the Eddie Wood sale for a couple of years. Both Kevin and I and Jody and Kim have lots of experience. But I will tell you, the one thing that I've taken away from this is how much you take for granted what the TLBAA office or the ITLA office does for you. Every little detail. Kevin and I or Jody and Kim are really having to deal with, and that's everything from the Chuckwagon Breakfast to the panels to the each and every detail has to have been addressed by one of us four, as opposed to some of the other events that we have been involved with. We've had, for lack of a better way to put it, back office help. You're looking at it now, so that's probably my one takeaway from this, is how much true involvement the four of us have had.
Kevin, do you have anything to add to that with the futurity side of it?
Well, the futurity side, same way. We've put together a whole different idea on some grand drives. Now we're going to do our grand drive. Going to the futurities this year, they've done so many things, from how deep they pay to how they've been judged, who the judges are. And Nik has done all of our picking of all of our judges. He's stepped up and probably got, I haven't figured it up, but I would say there's probably a good 100 years between everybody and our judges, our 5-panel judge. They're just a good set of judges that has been in the cattle industry. So Nik's done all of that. He studied them and he's done all the reach out, picked them up. As far as putting on the futurity, like Nik said, I've put on them before. But there's always, every event has its own twist. So we have to really focus on making sure that everything's taken care of and our spectators are taken care of all the way through.
Well, should we get into the schedule of events for the weekend?
Sounds great.
All right. So tell us what happens on Thursday, the 26th.
Nik, do you want to answer that one?
Let me ramble for a bit. Thursday is cattle arrive all day. I would just offer that we have a limited amount of transient space left available. So please reach out to me if you have that. But Thursday is move-in day. Can't really do earlier because they're still setting up pens on Wednesday. So Thursday is move-in day. Friday is an early start to the futurity. And like Kevin had mentioned, we're doing bulls first. I think it's class 1 through 5, then the heifers, and then the shootout round. And I'm going to let Kevin talk about all the shootout round stuff a little bit later. But somewhere in there, we're going to have we're calling it an awards dinner, but we're not scheduling that at 5:30 because we may still be showing cows, or it could be, who knows. Saturday at 8:30 is when we're going to have our Chisholm. Sorry, I almost said Chisholm Trail Breakfast, but it's Chuckwagon Breakfast. And I think that's going to be neat and fun. And and that's one of the other things we're trying to incorporate. Not just the name Chisholm Trail, but bring some authenticity, for lack of a better way to put it, to this event. Other sales have had chuck wagons in the past, and I thought it was really a neat touch. And so that's something that we're really focusing on and hoping to bring alive, is the Chisholm Trail and some of the history associated with the Chisholm Trail. Because literally, if you drive to Enid, Oklahoma, you've driven on the Chisholm Trail. Sale starts at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, and then it'll run till it runs. We're going to give our back crew a little bit of break, and then we'll be loading out, and load out has to be done by noon Sunday. I hope that answered your question.
It did, yes. So let's back up to Friday morning. The futurity starts at 8. And I think you said the bulls are going to go first?
Yes.
Yep. How many bull entries did you have?
We got 51 bulls.
All right. And then the heifers. And how many heifers?
127. So we got 178 total.
How many classes of each will you have?
We have 5 bull classes, 8 heifer classes, and I think the lightest class we have is 9, and the largest class we have is 22. So they're going to be a very evenly set of animals. It looks like we'll probably have it, just by doing the math, we'll give out somewhere around 24,000 in cash and 3,000 in awards and prizes to go with that. So, just under 27,000 on buckles, hay rings, all that stuff. So very excited about that. Before we go on any farther, we will have water in the pens for these cattle. When they unload, they will have. We've got tubs to put it in. There'll be water in the pens for people coming a long ways. That our goal is get these cattle off the trailer, get them in a pen, and let the next load unload and load. But they won't be standing there without water or anything like that. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
So then after we have the bull futurity, then the heifer futurity, you're doing something unique at your futurity, which I think they did this at one futurity before, which was the bluegrass, where they call it the head-to-head. You're calling it the shootout round. Can you explain to everybody what that means and I guess what you're doing?
Yes, it's basically the same thing they did at the bluegrass, where they had the cattle come in. They seeded the cattle with their score in the futurity. We're doing the same thing. We're seeding what animal has to compete with the next animal just by how they placed on their score, high to low score. On the bulls, we're going to have a total of 8 bulls come back for our shootout round, head-to-head shootout round. 5 of those are going to be class champions, so every class champion gets to come back. We added 3 of the next high point animals, because when you talk to Joe, you talk to him and it's like, well, I split these animals tied and I split them, so I had to tie break it. We see it a lot. So what we did, we invited the next 3 animals come back. That way we have a solid 8 rounds. Then you'll go to your final 4. Then you'll do your semifinals. Then you'll have your grand champion. Our reserve grand champion is the only animal that has a double elimination, where the grand champion animal has already beat that animal once. When he beats it, the animal that they get there, that's the only double elimination we have. So the reserve grand animal gets a double elimination. On the heifers, we're bringing back 16. We have 8 heifer classes. So we're bringing back 8 high point heifers. And at a lot of these futurities, we see this where, the top 2 or 3 may only be a half or quarter or a tie. Well, this brings them animals back for the judges to actually get a view of these animals. They'll be seen anywhere from 4 to 5 times before they're picked as a grand. And it's going to be super exciting, because a lot of times when we see high points, this is what I see. When we see high points, I question, is that the best animal? Because that judge already had to sit through 150 animals or 170 animals or whatever. With this, the judges get to see them animals more than once and get to look at them and really study that animal. The neat thing about the head-to-head is when you have a grand champion drive, usually you'll see all the judges get together and visit what they want to have the best, or what they see the best. The judges will be able to get up. They'll be able to walk around. That way they can view the animal, but they don't get to discuss what they want to the rest of them. They say, I want 1 or 2, and that animal moves on.
Kevin, were you at the bluegrass futurity?
Yes.
Did you go there? I think one of them may have been Terry King's, and I forget who the owner of the other one was, but there was one point where two heifers came in the ring and they looked like they could have been identical twins.
That was Innovated Morning and TT Area. That's that, and they did. They look like Twinkies.
They did.
Yes, that's what you get into, and that was a 3-1 decision, or 3-2 decision on sending Area to the finals. That competed against, I think, is Isabella, and I think actually, and that heifer, if I'm not mistaken, was grand champion that day, and beat the High Point animal out of the futurity for it. Sure did.
Mm-hmm.
If I can add one thing real quick, just to reiterate the double elimination thing on the reserve, so Kevin has articulated that absolutely correctly about how the grand champion is named the grand champion, and you would think, well, the whoever they beat is the reserve. Well, hang on, because not unlike in the show ring, now the second place animal will compete with the animal that the grand champion beat to get there. So literally, that's the only oddball thing here. It's sort of like in the show ring, the reserves are awarded that way, and I think that's the only way. I think that's the best way, because that's really the intent here, is to make sure that we're bringing all the best animals forward, and that's how we're going to name the reserve champion. Is not just the last one standing that got beat by the grand champion. We're going to bring the animal that the grand champion beat, like we do in the show ring, up forward to compete with that other animal for reserve champion. When you see the bracket, it's a lot easier to understand. But and anyone with show experience or show knowledge will understand what I just said.
Well, and earlier you talked about buckles, which I'm assuming that the buckles will go to the class champions. What happens with the shootout? Because I think there's a different award after some of the rounds that they win.
Yes, you are correct. Your fraternity class winners will win a buckle made by Molly Silversmith that they've done a really good job. What we did, we designed a logo that has the state of Oklahoma, and it's got a line through it. Kind of may not be exactly, but it's kind of where the Chisholm Trail went from Texas to Kansas, and we got a star where Enid is, and we've got a Texas Longhorn head on it. And they designed that that emblem for us and put it on all of our buckles. Then the cash money also goes to your class champions. Once we get into the shootout rounds, we've got when we get down to the final four, those cattle will win $200 to get to the final four, each animal. Then when we get to the semifinals, each animal that goes semifinal gets $300. And the grand champion gets an additional $500. So accumulatively, the grand champion animal will end up with $1,000 and a awesome hay ring that Paul Wolford with PNC Cattle Pens has donated us. And it's a $900 value. So the grand champion in the heifer and the cow will end up with roughly a $1,900 award that day, just in the shootout.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you haven't seen those hay rings, they are nice.
So you're going to have 5 judges. So let's talk about the 5 judges that you're going to have that get to do both the heifer and the bull futurity and the shootout.
Right. Gary Lake, dear friend of mine from Colorado. Gary's been in the business, forever. Started out with Dickinson Cattle Company. He's been very involved with Colorado Longhorns. And Dickinson moved to Ohio, and Gary stayed on in Colorado area. And him and Stan Searle now run Silver Springs. Is that right, Gary?
Silverado.
Silverado. Thank you. I knew there was a silver in there. and they do a great job up there. And again, very involved in every aspect of the industry. Travis Casey, our next judge, also happens to be from Colorado. Very involved in the affiliates up there. Some of you may remember the Double Down Futurity, Colorado Springs. Well, Travis basically ran that with his affiliate, of course, but very involved there. And I've known Travis for probably 10 years now. Damn good man, and couldn't be happier to have him as a judge. Mike Metcalf, also from Colorado. There's a theme here, apparently, but Mike has been. Mike had his liquidation sale up in Amarillo last year, but was very, very, very involved up to that point in both ITLA and TLBA and all of the affiliates. But Mike has had some really nice cattle throughout the years, and is very involved in the futurity scene, particularly prior to his liquidation. John Oliver, I've known John for what seems like 100 years. I think, as I think back, to my early days, John and I competed in the show ring. Our cattle competed in the show ring, and our kids. So that was always fun. Of course, I think they ended up winning more buckles than my kids, but that's okay because it is what it is. But John has been a dear friend of ours and very involved in the ITLA. Suzanne Torkelson is our fifth judge, and literally, I think Suzanne and I started Longhorns, within a year or two of each other. And I served on the board with TLBA with Dr. Torkelson for years and years and years, and have known Suzanne since the beginning. And I just think the world of her cattle. I like the way she cowgirls, and I've seen her judge before, and I thought she did a great job. And she was, definitely on my short list of people that I wanted to get to participate as a judge in our inaugural event. And I thank each and every one of them for coming up, because it is a commitment to their time, and much appreciated.
So Friday is solely the futurity and the shootout. Let's move on to Saturday. You said the Chuckwagon Breakfast was at 8:30 and the sale starts at 11. If somebody has questions sale day, who should they contact?
Yeah, both Kevin and I numbers are in the program or in the sale catalog that will be available at the venue. I think that there's some electronic copies of the sale catalog out there, and I'll make sure I put one out again here shortly onto Facebook and all of those electronic platforms. And of course, Hired Hand Live is where people can get some of that information as well. We've got haulers. Is that going to be one of your next questions?
It sure is.
Okay. We've got some haulers already identified. Not unlike everyone else, the haulers schedules are a little bit tight, but Dan Grove is bringing cattle in to the event, and then he's turning around and basically heading back east. So points east are going to be Dan Grove is going to be our I'm going to say belly button for that. Austin Lovelace is going to be available to bring cattle to Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana kind of region. And then we've got other people that have raised their hands, either they are consigners or participating in the futurity, that said that they would, certainly help us move cattle around if they can. And again, we've got people living as far away as Montana, Wyoming, Montana border area, all the way out to Utah, et cetera. We'll get your cattle home if you buy them.
Who is going to be your auctioneer and pedigree reader?
Pedigree reader is none other than Chase Pursuit, the talking head. I love Chase to death, and he's an interesting duck for sure. And we went with Chase this year, and darn happy that we did. Good guy, interesting guy, knows cattle for sure, and definitely has a love for the game. So, I think love of the game will show through. Our auctioneer is Dan Huntington of Huntington Sales. He's become kind of the standard in the Longhorn industry, or is working his way to becoming that standard in the Longhorn industry. We're damn glad that, he can come down and participate. When you put one of these events on, really, for anybody in the future who's trying to do this, you really need to lock in your auctioneer and your pedigree reader early. And we were fortunate to get on the schedule of these two gentlemen, and darn glad to have them.
What about your back crew? Who should people contact if they have a question there?
That's going to be Terry Bryant. He's going to head that up. They can always call Nick or I for no issues, and we'll post that. But he's worked the Legend since the Legend started. People like the way he handles cattle because he handles them quietly. He handled the Horn Showcase one year in El Reno and got swatted and broke his nose bit instead of going to the expensive hotel at the hospital. He goes to the emergency room, come back and gets back on top of these cattle. He's dedicated to the people. He's dedicated to the cattle. I claim him as a brother. He is my brother. He's my twin. There's 3 years and a day difference. I tell everybody it took Mom 3 years longer to push me out, but he's a good guy. Brother-in-law was working with him. Everybody knows Rob Neville's. Most people think they're switched, but that's the way they are. He's got a crew that's willing to help him do the work. He's got a girl that's going to make sure that all the water tubs are filled throughout the day, so we don't have to worry about that. One of the things I would like to mention, the way we drew our pins this year, we're able to, when the futurity's going on, the sell cattle will actually be able to be viewed. You don't have to go through them, through the futurity to find your sell cows. They're in the same area. Everything's connected, but the futurity's not going to affect somebody going and looking at cows all day. They get bored and they want to go do something different. You're going to be able to do that. And a lot of these sales, just because of the way the pins are set up, you don't get that opportunity.
So next, let's talk about the sponsors. I believe you had sponsors almost right away when you said you were going to have this event. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, sure. Obviously these events are impossible to you couldn't do it without sponsors. Some of us know how hard it is to reach out to your friends and ask for money too. So, if you want to put on an event, you need sponsors. You want sponsors, you got to ask your friends for money. So that's part of putting on an event, of course. But, one of our, I'm going to call him a super sponsor, Mark Gilliland, really, the first to step up and say, yes, let's do this. And yes, thank you for doing this, which I found is encouraging. Because Mark remembers back to the good old days of the Midwest Sale and some of the other events regionally. So Mark Gilliland, who also has 4 slots in the sale, but Mark reached out and immediately said, yes, I want to help. Likewise, Glendenning Farms, Charisse Glendenning. Really slowly but surely, the Glendennings have really stepped up and become leaders in this Longhorn family, in this Longhorn community. They are our featured bull sponsor this year, and thrilled to death to have them participating with a couple of sale animals as well. The featured bull this year is going to be GF Sebastian Wind, and that's Buckwind times RM Rose of Sebastian. Rose of Sebastian, 100-inch cow, gorgeous cow. Buckwind is slowly but surely, or not slowly, but it is surely becoming an industry standard as well. He's a 90 plus inch bull now. We're darn glad to have them. In addition to that, just having their bull there, the Glendennings are offering semen available, and that's part of the featured bull package for both, in this case, Buckwind and Buckwind Sire Drag Iron. More to follow on that for participants, either online or in person. You will have an opportunity to obtain semen on those 2 exceptional bulls from the Glendenning program. I'll go through the list of our event sponsors and that kind of thing, and just talk about everybody. But one of the things I do want to make sure that doesn't go unnoticed is Hoosier Longhorns. They approached Kevin at one of the events and said, "What can we do to help?" And by then we had most of our sponsorship spots filled, and they just wrote us a check, and I had to call them later and say, "What do you want this to be?" And they're like, "Do whatever you want with it." And unfortunately, they're not going to be able to attend and participate, but Hoosier Longhorns really, again, becoming leaders in the Longhorn community. I can't thank them enough for their sponsorship, and literally, like I said, they gave us a check and said, do it, make it fit. So they ended up with a page in our sale catalog, and they're also one of our final 4 sponsors this year. And again, we thank them very much. So let me just go down some of the other sponsors. We already talked about our featured bull sponsor, the Glendennings. Again, super sponsor, Gilliland Ranch. Thank you very much to them. Our event sponsors were the Silver Summit Ranch, Cold Copper Ranch, Lonesome Pines Ranch, Crown Creek Cattle Company, Golden Hill Longhorns. And our Chuckwagon Breakfast sponsor is the Flying Bee Longhorns. Thank you to all of those folks who stepped up and really, again, these are leaders, are up and coming leaders in the Longhorn world. Couldn't be more thankful to them. And again, thank you for taking my call, and thank you for writing that check. Because this is our inaugural event. Kevin and I and Jody and Kim, our hopes are to make it better every year, but we can only do that through, building on success and having willing partnerships and willing sponsorships. So I'm going to turn this back over to Kevin, because I know we had a lot of futurity type sponsors, and hopefully Kevin can run through that list for us. Personally, on the sales side, thank you very much for those that have reached out and sponsored.
Agree with David. We appreciate every one of these guys that has stepped up. I'm going to start with Cold Copper Ranch and Jose Neto and Humberto Norbre. Cold Copper, they jumped up right out of the bat, and they wanted to sponsor the Grand Champion heifer. We appreciate that very much, Mike, Callie, and JC. I mean, they're just a cool family to work with. And our Grand Champion bull sponsor comes from Brazil. It's called Prospectors Partnership. But Jose has been buying cattle. I partnered with Humberto on getting some cattle to Brazil. So they stepped up and said, hey, we want to be the bull sponsor. So thank you guys for that. That's pretty awesome. Karen Allen and Marcus Cartwright, those guys, Marcus and Cartwright and Dylan Hall, they sponsored the Reserve Grand. Just super nice guys. And the bulls, they're super nice guys. He's hauling a bull named Diablo Checks that he's promoting. It's kind of nice to have, and he's brand new to the breed. I think I say new. He's within 2 years old in the breed, and just really focusing on trying to improve the program. He's even trying to put together another step that adds another step to the fraternity lines. Karen Allen, you can't ask for better people than Karen and Brian Allen. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. She hauls everywhere you go. Every time I go into a competition, she's standing there, and it's kind of like, dang, I wish they'd left that bull at home. And the first thing she asked me last year was, did I leave mine at home? Great people, and they always step up, and we appreciate everything that those guys has done. Our class sponsors, we have 13 classes. And 13 classes, the Lands Farm, Roger Cole with Show Me Longhorns, Ron Bailey with FMB Land and Cattle, Kurt Phillips, Marcy Nall, Ty Husky, Terry King, Travis Johnson, Wayne Manning, John Coggins, Kylie and Aaron Johnson, Kim Jones, Kathy Palladini. These are all breeders that are either relatively new or they've been here for a long time. We got a new sponsor for our Final Fours. That's how we paid our Final Fours. We had Jeff Wilson that's been in the breed a couple of years. I asked him, and he's a very competitive guy. He says, hey, we've never sponsored anything, so we're his inaugural sponsor. So thank you, Jeff Wilson, for that. Tanya and Curtis Abel's the same way. They're tough competitors. But all these guys are tough. They're just tough to compete with. And just love to have them. I'm glad they're coming and glad they're supporting us. Josh and Brittany Gentry, G3, Hunter and Jordan Bodle, and his dad with Flying Bees. Then we had one sneak in the crack on us, and that was GA Country Club, which is George Watchborough. I said it wrong. I apologize for that, George. But thank you so much for stepping in and helping us put this deal together. Like Nick said, we cannot do it without y'all. Tom and Amy Buxton, another fierce competitor. You always wonder where they're at. They're not going to be able to come up, but they stepped up and dropped money into our Final Four to sponsor that. I asked Jaymie earlier on that to see if we couldn't get to where these guys get to see what we're doing. If it's possible, we'll make it happen. But those guys are just everybody's just been really good about stepping up and doing what they could, and we appreciate it very much because it'll help us put some whatever we get anywhere. It'll go somewhere to help the competitors to have a competition that they're proud of, and that's our goal. I think mine and Nick's goal out of this whole deal is when y'all leave that you had a good time, that we were fair, and we did everything we could to make your day in Oklahoma a good day.
That's the list of sponsors, which is quite the list of people that you have for your event. Let's move on to the consigners. I'm going to assume, I hope this is a safe assumption, that most everyone that consigned also entered some animals into the futurity. And it looks like when I was looking at your list of consigners, there may be a couple people that this might be their first sale that they've participated in.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, but I didn't specifically ask that question. And you know, I think we do have a couple, at least one that I'm pretty sure is a first time consigner. Not really ready to say that they are or they aren't. So I'm not giving names. Sorry. But I think we do have one, maybe two first time consigners. Names that you'll probably recognize when you go through the catalog, and you'll think, you know, not recognize or realize that they're first time consigners, but we'll try and have that information available at the sale and on the block if they're first time consigners. So, but
well, I know that there's one couple on the list, Kobe and Crystal McClung, I think is how you say their last name.
That's the one I was pretty sure of.
Yeah.
But couldn't be more happy to have them participate and join us in Enid for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if some people know that Crystal is John and Deborah Helm's daughter. So just a fun little, you know, kind of keep it in the family that she was raised with Longhorns, and now her and her husband are doing the same thing. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And now let's hear from our advertisers.
Do you sometimes feel like you're the only one who doesn't have it all figured out? Rural life can be isolating, but it doesn't have to be.
Welcome to Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, the podcast for women who are craving connection, laughter, solidarity, camaraderie, and just overall encouragement in your everyday life and dreams.
Each week, your hosts, Annalise, that's me, and Courtney will cover topics such as farm life, mom life, making money online, side hustles, hobbies, sharing on social media, jobs off the farm, and so much more.
Us rural gals need to stick together, so saddle up for some fun, real, and unsolicited advice and stories from our everyday farm lives.
Grab a drink, we're Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, and we're here to help. Listen wherever you find podcasts.
From the Pasture by Hired Hand is presented by R3 Hilltop Ranch. Located in Chilton, Texas, R3 Hilltop Ranch has been breeding registered Texas Longhorns since 2006. What began as 3 heifers has grown into our current herd, which you can explore on our website at r3hilltop.com. We're passionate about loud colors, longhorns, and docile temperaments, but it's the easy-keeping, low-maintenance traits of Texas Longhorns that initially attracted us and continue to drive our herd growth. In addition to livestock, we proudly offer certified Longhorn beef products. Visit r3hilltop.com/beef to learn more. Thank you for listening and enjoy exploring our ranch online at r3hilltop.com.
Imagine updating your website and managing your animals at the same time without needing tech experience. With Hired Hand software, it's that easy. Our user-friendly platform is designed specifically for breeders, allowing you to keep your site fresh and your animal records up to date in just a few clicks.
Let us simplify your digital chores while you focus on what you do best. Visit hiredhandsoftware.com and see just how easy it can be.
Looking for top quality Longhorns and a taste of true Texas spirit? Look no further than Cantera Cattle Company. Our passion for Longhorn shines at Old Gringo Ranch, where tradition meets excellence. Visit us online at CanteraCattleCompany.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates and ranch life fun. Ready to experience it yourself? Schedule your visit by emailing canteracattle@gmail.com. Remember, God is great, Longhorns are good, and life is crazy.
Planning a live auction and want to reach more buyers? Hired Hand Live brings the power of the internet to your event, allowing bidders from anywhere to participate in real time. We specialize in integrating online bidding seamlessly with your live auction, ensuring that no one misses out.
Your livestock plus our technical expertise equals one successful auction. Let Hired Hand Live help you expand your reach and maximize your results. Visit hiredhandlive.com to learn more. Okay, so let's move on to the consignments. You have 39, I believe, in the sale this year. Do you have are there any scratches or any subs that we should make people aware of?
Yes, unfortunately, we did have substitutions. The Terry King was unable to bring the animal that he had as lot 23. So Terry King's heifer that he's substituting is going to be lot 23. We've got River Forks First Class. She's a tricolored heifer, born January of 2024. So a young cow. It's always a tough decision just to substitute or scratch an animal. And I think in this case, Terry made the right decision. And I've seen this animal in the pictures of this animal that he's bringing, and she's a good one, and I think she'll do real well in the sale. Jaguar Check's grandfather on the paternal side, MC Hanging Tough grandsire on the maternal side, should be a really great animal, and she looks gorgeous in pictures. So she's going to be the new and improved lot 23. For lot 39, which happens to be my cow, a little background on her. She's got a heifer calf at side, probably going to be 7 months old at the sale. I could have just sent her down the road, but when we preg test checked her, she came up open. I was hoping to have a 3-1 in the sale as the final lot 39 in the sale. Well, did not turn out to be a 3-1. I don't want to send that cow down the road to some breeder. Even though she did have a heifer at side, I probably could have put her in the sale, but we're going to replace her with a young drag iron daughter. Nice cow, darn nice cow actually. And she does have a heifer standing at side by my partnership bull, Bob Lee, BCR 934. Bob Lee is just a stud muffin, won the Horn Showcase a couple years. He's got a couple trophies. And Suzanne Torkelson used Bob. My other two partners have got really, really nice cows. And if anybody wants to see what Bob is producing, take a look at my website. There are some really, really stupidly nice cows. And the heifer outside of my new and improved lot 39 is by that bull, Bob Lee. Her name is MBR Iron Lane. And again, the drag iron daughter, just a nice cow. That's our subs. No scratches that I'm aware of at this point. We're filming this, a week, 10 days out. So there may be additions or substitutions or scratches from the sale, but that's what we're aware of today.
Well, since you're the sale guy, I'm going to put you on the spot and we're going to play catalog roulette. I'm going to pick an animal and then you get to tell us everything you know about it.
Let me pull out my catalog real quick. Thanks a lot.
We'll start with lot 3, PCC Precedence from Pace Cattle Company.
Yeah. And one of the sponsors that I think I might have missed was Pace Cattle Company, because they joined us a little bit late too, wanting to plug in and wanting to participate. And so they're actually going to be sponsoring the dinner along with Bryant Cattle Company. That guy sitting next to you, and Commander's Place Longhorns, the other guy sitting next to you on this thing. So the three of us Oklahoma breeders are basically putting on dinner. So I think that's kind of neat, and I want to thank the Paces for participating at that level. So lot number 3, I love this young heifer, solid color. But look at that maternal pedigree. Cowboy checks, goes back to some of the great Jimmy Jones breeding, Horseshoe J Fancy Pants. That is just high-end top stuff. her dam is Horseshoe J Priority. And my God, just thank you. I don't know how else to say it other than thank you for bringing that animal to our sale. I'm anxious to see her in person, and thrilled to death that the Paces decided to participate and bring some of the cattle that they did, including this one. So I'm glad you picked number 3, because she's one of my. I've already got her circled in the catalog, and I'm hoping that Kim and I can afford her.
Well, next we'll go to lot 5 from Antelope Creek Ranch, and that's Carter Hunt. His lot's name is Sweet Brown Eyes AC.
Yeah, another one of the names you don't see so much in the industry, but he's up and coming for sure, absolutely. And I love his cattle, particularly this young heifer. When you look at that maternal line, a top caliber daughter out of Rio Lido Chick ST, that's high-end stuff. You could argue that some of that is a little bit older breeding, but I think that's some of the best breeding from old, is how I like to refer to that. That's going to be a nice animal when she matures. And again, another heifer that I'm thrilled to death to have an opportunity to represent in our sale. I can't thank Carter enough for bringing that animal. Thank you. Who's next?
Well, the next one I stopped
This isn't so scary.
All right. Well, next one might get you though. But I think you may know a few details about this one. Lot 8, Dirt Road Cowgirl from you and Kim.
First of all, I can't believe that Kim let me consign this animal. The maternal line, and Cheyenne, my daughter, the maternal line on this animal goes back to Cheyenne's favorite animal, Lenova Cowgirl. Lenova Cowgirl, and this pedigree falls a little bit off the page, is Tabasco's Lazawi and Cowboy Casanova. She was an embryo we bought from Mike Bowman back in the day. That maternal line is just, I'm going to call it Longhorn Royalty or Longhorn Gold, but that maternal line goes back to Tabasco's Lazawi. On her paternal side, Amarillo Sky, we won the National Western Stock Show with Amarillo Sky back in 23, 22, I don't remember, Grand Champion Bull. Amarillo Sky did a great job for us and is down working with our partners down in Wichita Falls, Texas, and doing a great job, and hoping to get Amarillo Sky back up breeding our cows this year. But Amarillo Sky is a gold mine and goes back to the HR Silverside. HR Silverside was just a dynamite cow. Comes from a Harold ranch. Harold consigned that cow, I don't know, 5-8 years ago, whatever it was. And I'm afraid I cost the Paces some money that day because I was bidding against him on that cow. Actually, Tyson brought this bull to an event and was looking for a buyer. And I said, I'm your man, because I know that pedigree better than anybody else on the planet. So that's Amarillo Sky, just a dynamite bull, one National Western Stock Show with him. Again, whoever ends up with her needs to thank Kim, because I'm surprised that she let me consign that animal. So who's next?
All right. Next we'll go to lot 11. Helm Miss Smoky Gale from Helm Cattle Company. John and Deborah.
So again, I have to thank the Helms for participating. Leaders in the community, Longhorn community, been doing this for a long time, and couldn't be happier to have them participate. Boss 020, the sire of this young heifer, I don't know personally, but I know that pedigree very, very well. Wanacheks and Helm Missy, two great animals in this breed, and I'm assuming that their son, the sire of this animal, is a producer, because I know that John wouldn't be using them if he wasn't dynamite. That maternal side, my goodness, some dynamite animals in that pedigree as well. The LAR smoking, unbelievable bull. Again, a little bit of age on that pedigree, but again, that's bringing some solid genetics forward. And I think this young lady right here has got a lot of potential. When you look at her, great horn set. I think you bring her into your herd and put her under some of your good bulls that I know are out there. I think could be a real winner for somebody, especially given that Wanacheks type pedigree on the paternal side. I think this is a winner for somebody.
Okay, next we'll skip ahead to lot 16. Jam Class from Todd and Amber Christ with Christ Ranch.
So again, I know I thank everybody for coming and participating, but thrilled to have these folks join us as well. Jambox, Dickinson type breeding, which is, how can you not love it? Dropbox and Jamoke Rose on the top. I had a son. I bought a cow from Debbie Bowman's last dispersal, bred to this young bull, and that bull calf was just dynamite when he came out, and thrilled to death with that pedigree, and I love that pedigree. The maternal side of that pedigree I know a little less about, but pretty strong stuff. I'm assuring you. Looks like she has an April bull calf at side. Solid animal, and we appreciate that they're coming to participate in the event.
Okay, the next one is Monica's Grand Pearl from Mark Gilliland with Gilliland Ranch, lot 19.
The maternal side on this pedigree, oh my God, goes back to the Monica line. Mark brought a couple of cows that go back maternally to the Monica line, and of course with the sire of the Beast. In the case of this young animal, she's confirmed bred to Cactus Jack. I'm not saying this is going to be one of our high-selling lots, but it's one of the animals that I'm interested in. And I know there is a lot of interest in this animal and in this pedigree. I think anytime you have the Beast over a sitting bull daughter with a maternal line, it goes back to the Monica line. Those are just tough genetics to beat. And she's a nice-looking animal as well, and that sure is going to help. Good animal, for sure.
Well, next, I don't know if this animal is coming from Utah or Oklahoma, but lot 21, KDK Valiant's Ginny from JH Cattle Company with Jason Hardy.
Yeah, Jason reached out to us early and is bringing some animals. And I actually think I'm with you. I think, as I recall the story, these animals are here in Oklahoma because he has property here in Oklahoma in addition to his place in Utah. Thrilled to death that they're participating. Those KDK paternal genetics, just dynamite stuff. Real winners there on the maternal side. Some of the genetics that of old that are being brought forward. Take a look at her. She's a big red cow, but I tell you what, give me a red cow any old day of the week. I love me some red cows. What really intrigued me about this animal is the bull that she's bred to, Ruly Rebel. I know that when you look at him, he's got some really fascinating horns. The horn angle on this bull is exceptional. And I don't remember the pedigree off the top of my head, but I do know that I was intrigued by it. And Ruly Rebel, Pace Cattle Company owned part of that bull. And that should tell you just how important that bull is to the breeds, because when the Paces go out and buy a bull, it's probably a pretty darn good one. And Ruly Rebel was somebody who got my interest early, and looking forward to the opportunity to potentially have those genetics join my herd as well. Who's next?
Next, we'll go to lot 26 from Lindsay and Ben Monk with Big Sky Livestock out of Wyoming. Their lot is Tap Dance. Kevin, can you hear Nick?
No, he went quiet on us.
Oh, he just
went off.
disappeared. Oh, no.
Well, Tap Dance is a saddle horn on the top side out of a trail dust. Saddlehorn doesn't need anything that Tapduro, whatever his name is. He's a son of Saddlehorn, which is be a half brother to Saddle Jewel that sold for $120,000 down at Hudson Valentine last year. He's also would be a half brother to Colt Copper's bull, Tied Off. And he's also a half brother to the bull we just sent to Brazil, Hard and Fast. And the female line, the maternal line of that, is Dances with Wolves, which is another Saddlehorn top caliber. So that puts a lot of horn in the pedigree. And one thing about top caliber, if you ever talk to anybody about top caliber, it's his females udders. They're just the great udders, great milkers. And that pedigree should have a lot of backward twist and backward angled horn.
Are you ready for the next one?
I guess.
Okay.
Maybe Nick will join us in a minute when he catches up.
Right. Okay, we'll do lot 29. T-Bill's Grand Susie from LM Ranch with Mike Davis.
Well, Mike dug deep into his pocket to bring some of this genetics to us. I know, want to thank him for that. And I know that, Nick asked him to join us, and we thank him for doing that. But this cow's sire is, she's an own daughter of JP Rio Grande, which doesn't need any explanation to us. Hey, Nick, you want to finish this?
I think you're doing a great job.
We're on lot
29.
29, T-Bill's Grand Susie from Mike Davis.
So a couple things that excite me about this animal, and I heard Kevin talking about it a little bit, but of course Rio Grande. But look at that maternal pedigree, a Sitting Bull and Texana Van Horn. Okay. Now how about we breed that cow to WS Hydro and bring her to a sale in Oklahoma, see how she does. I think Hydro is one of the cooler bulls in the breed right now. I love his color. I love what he throws. And I think put on that package, I think we're going to have Mike's going to have himself a winner. I know that she's probably got a short exposure to Hydro. I haven't seen any paperwork that she's confirmed bred or anything, but my God, what a great opportunity for somebody here to just get those genetics. You try and reach out and find that Texana Van Horn maternal line somewhere. It's not easy to get, and when you do find it, it's awful expensive usually. And I thank Mike Davis for bringing from Lucky Mountain to bring this set of genetics up to our sale, and real thrilled with that animal, and thrilled to have not only Mike participate, but you stop and think about it. We're a first year opportunity sale here, and for Mike to want to participate and be willing to participate, that's a big step of faith, I think, and I thank Mike for his support of the sale and for the animals that he's bringing.
All right, next we'll go to Cherry Cattle Company with Roy and Amanda. Their lot 33, TXW Darling.
So I always get a kick out of whenever I see the TXW. What a historic brand in this breed, and this animal excites me for a bunch of reasons. And I will ask people out there, if you are not familiar with the TXW brand, get familiar, because this is some serious stuff. The C3 HR Buzzy bull that she's bred to. Take a look, do your own homework on these TXW cows, but also take a look at that bull while you're doing it. This is some serious stuff, and again, for folks to put their animals on a trailer and bring them up to Oklahoma for Kevin and I to sell. Thank you very much for that opportunity.
We'll move on to lot 36 from Big Valley Longhorns with Janet Gleason, Iron Butterfly.
Yeah, this young cow is pushing 90 inches now. Just a bighorn rascal. Okay, so she's 10 years old. Okay, she's still got a lot of production left in her for sure. And I will tell you that those drag iron Jamaicanism genetics on her paternal side, immediately gets my attention. And that maternal side, just amazing. Goes back to that KC Justice bull. For those who may not remember KC genetics, that's some really good stuff. I mean, it goes back to like the Bladen genetics back in 15, 18 years ago. Solid bulls, a lot of Horn Showcase trophies won with that set of genetics right there. I don't know the bull that she's bred to, but Handsome Jack, but I'm sure as heck going to dig into it and find out, because I like that animal. Big bone, big horn rascal like that with a lot of production left on her. I think that's a great opportunity for somebody in the breed to pick up a cow like that.
Well, Kevin, we're going to take this one back to you because I think you know a lot about this animal. We'll do lot 38, M2 Cooter 17,
Yes.
from you and Jody.
Well, yeah, this is a cow that Jody and I showed a bull. We raised a bull called Grand Exit. This is one of his daughters. These daughters are just producing our female line that we've been showing, and these Grand Exit daughters have just been putting out great show prospects in the Futurity line. in the halter line. He just does a great job. Her dam is Cooter Mountain, which is an own daughter of Cowboy Checks, which is one of the. He's the foundation of the breed on the Cowboy Tough, all those bulls. But the thing that most people may not realize is the dam of this cow is Cooter Hill. She was world champion at the TLBAA as an age cow. They won a lot of shows in the halter pen with that cow. We've had several calves out of this. They're all been fall calves, and she usually just puts up really pretty. She's a big, soggy cow. She'll probably be in the 1,200 range. She was in the high 70s as tip to tip, but she's pushing close to 90 inches on total horn, a little over 90. We haven't got her measured yet. We'll get her in. We did get confirmation that she is confirmed bred. If she is true to the 284, she should have a calf somewhere around the 1st of October. She's bred to Hard and Fast. Hard and Fast is a own son of Saddlehorn out of Dragon Smile of Dickinson, which is Drag Iron and Winning Smile on the bottom side. We've got several heifers that's coming on these, and this cow is just really the only cow that we felt like that we could put in a sale that we felt comfortable with. I don't even have anything that I'd put in as a sublot because she's that deep in our program. But it's one that she came from Maytot, J.R. Maytot, but she is our program on the top side, and we was getting short on Grand Exits a few years ago, so we went ahead and got her back, and now we're still AI in the Grand Exit. So if you want a speckled up, big soggy heifer, young cow, there's one that'll have a calf in October.
Yeah, I love that Cooter Hill cow. Back in the day when we were competing in the show ring, that cow won, every time. And I think she had a bigger set of horns than people realized too, Kevin, as you may recall. She actually competed well in the horn showcase. So she was a show cow that kicked everybody's butt, and she was competitive in the horn measuring world too. Just a great cow. And of course, hired Hard and Fast. Love that bull. Always have, always will.
Well, that was the last of the animals for Catalog Roulette. And you mentioned earlier, that all the cows need to be out by Sunday at noon, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, is there anything that we have not talked about that you would like to mention?
I would like to. We haven't mentioned you guys, but I'm pretty sure Nick feels the same way. If it wouldn't been for you and Molly and Hired Hand, along with Dan Huntington and Joe with Huntington Sales and the NFLR, we would have had to struggle a lot harder than what we got along. You guys have helped us out so much, and I know Jody and I, and I'm pretty sure Nick's on the same page, and Kim, want to thank you for bottom of our heart for doing what you guys do, because there ain't anybody else out there that can do it as good. As far as Dan and Joe, they offer a service that is just out of this world as far as auctioneer, helping us get people lined up for chase. Joe doing the classes and giving us an opportunity to help further our futurity world. It's just a great experience, and I want to thank you and Molly and Dan and Joe from the bottom of my heart for doing what y'all do.
Well, thanks for including us. We appreciate it. Well, I have one last thing that I want you guys to answer. Actually, 5 more things that I want you to answer. I call it the Fast 5. So I'm going to say a characteristic from a Longhorn, and then you pick one animal out of the sale that we have not already talked about. All right.
Okay.
So the first is a black and white animal.
Ooh. Yeah, I think we already talked about the pace cow, and my 39 is out. So there went a couple of them.
My cow's Parker. Just so you
Yeah,
know,
I know, right?
38's a Parker.
Yeah, you got me flipping through the pages now. And some of these dark-hided animals are Parkers.
Actually, that leaves the pace heifers, the only black heifer in there. Oh, no, there's Tap Dance. It's a black. We've talked about them.
Yeah, we talked about them already.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're off the hook there, I guess.
Well, yeah, Tap Dance, you're right. We talked about her already, so yep. Okay, I think you out-tricked yourself there, young lady.
I really did. Okay, how about Twist?
Well, there is one that towards the back of the sale that intrigued me just by looking at her twist, and that's lot 31, Yeehaw, by Todd and Amber Christ. I don't know that pedigree as well. I know that paternally, that looks like some Dickinson type of stuff, which is nice, of course. And 9 Iron, you never guess who her dad is. Drag Iron, of course. But that looks like a neat twisty cow, and I'm looking forward to seeing that one in person. And there's a couple of others, but that one just stood out to me as probably the twist princess of the batch.
Okay, how about a red and white animal?
The Karen Allen heifer number 6 is an intriguing little critter. I'm anxious to see what that bull Resolute does. MC Hanging Tough and Carolina Dream. Some really, really, really solid animals on that paternal side. Maternally, Clout, I mean, come on. Just a big body, threw a big bodied cow and did real well in the futurity arena. I think lot number 6, Sophie So Nice, is a nice example of a red opportunity for a red heifer that could win you some futurity money down the road.
All right, next up is Brindle.
I get this one. That's lot 4.
That was quick.
That's a Glendenning heifer. And she's a lawman out of GF Iron. Her sire is Gunslinger, which did some horn measuring stuff out of a Superb cow. If anybody knows anything about Superb put a lot of big horns. He didn't have them, but his daughters produce big horn. It's out of GF Iron. Dark Anna, which is a daughter of Drag Iron, out of a Commander base cow. But when you look at that heifer, she's got a lot of color. She's flat lateral. She's got the perfect diamond in her head. It's just shape. She looks to me like she carries a lot of bone, but she's a tricolor brindle, and I think she's going to bring something to us. It's definitely worth looking at, especially anytime you see any of those calves that's got a GF on them. It scares me because I know that they come at expensive taste.
So, Kevin, who do you think owns her maternal grandmother, Meritorious Star? Whose grass do you suppose she's eating?
I don't know, but I know one
Mine.
thing. That's a dang nice heifer.
Yeah, her grandma's pushing 90. Haven't measured her in a bit. She's probably there now. But yeah, I can't say enough about that maternal line. Goes back to some of the Star Creek stuff, some of the best Star Creek stuff. And somebody's going to get a winner with that young heifer.
Well, I'm
right.
glad I got to answer one sale question.
Here, you have another chance. How about True Black?
Joe's going to kill me.
Yeah, I think we did the whole black thing already, didn't we?
Yeah, we've already got it.
There really isn't a lot of black animals in the pedigrees, but some of the bulls that some of these animals are bred to, hard and fast, and I'm looking through here. The Chris are using a black and white bull. Of course, Silver Summit is got that bull barcode, black and white, just a gorgeous bull. So I think what we lack in black and white cows, we've got in spades and black and white service sires. So there were just some very interesting black and white opportunities available on the service sire side of it.
Well, Kevin, you'll have to tell Jody it's safe to come out now. She doesn't have to risk being on video.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us. Make sure to check out the Chisholm Trail sale consignments ahead of sale date and follow us for more updates. Until next time.